Good evening. My name is Harmandeep Kaur, and my topic of discussion for today is mercury poisoning in Minamata Bay, Japan. The environmental disaster of Minamata Bay started in 1956. People noticed that the cats in the area are acting weird. One moment the cats are lying down, and the other they are dancing fanatically. Later, similar symptoms appeared in humans as well, and this gave rise to the fear of an infectious outbreak. But later on careful examination, the so named Minamata disease was attributed to methyl mercury poisoning. Minamata Bay is situated in the Kumamoto prefecture of Japan. Surrounded by mountains and rolling hills on three sides, the city straddles the mouth of Minamata River which opens into the sea. This place is best known for its environmental disaster of mercury poisoning and so named Minamata disease. Chizo Corporation was the biggest industrial site in that area, which was located on the bayside of Minamata facing Shiranui Sea. In 1932, Chizo Corporation started to operate the acetaldehyde compound, acetic acid, using mercury as a catalyst. This company operated for 36 years and dumped methyl mercury containing effluent into the Minamata Bay. The effluent was not treated by any process before dumping into the sea. Wastewater dumped by Chizo Corporation had high amount of mercury. Mercury bioaccumulated in the sea life and traveled up the food chain. Fish and seafood consumption was high among residents of Minamata, as well as birds and animals. After consuming mercury-tainted fish, people started to feel symptoms of mercury poisoning. Main symptoms associated with mercury poisoning are sensory and auditory disturbance, incoordination, dysarthria, constriction of visual field, weakness, and tremors. In various studies done on patients suffering mercury poisoning, it was seen that 77% of patients suffer sensory disturbance, 50% suffer auditory disturbance, 35% had incoordination, tremors, and weakness, while 20% had constriction of visual field as well as dysarthria. In May 1956, a pediatrician in Chizo Factory Hospital saw a little girl who reported symptoms like tremors and incoordination. Later, her sister developed the same symptoms. Soon, many cases with same symptoms appeared and the doctor notified public health department. People feared it as an infectious and contagious disease and started to isolate affected people. In August 1956, University of Kumamoto Medical School started to research this recent outbreak and in September 1956 declared it as a non-contagious food poisoning case. The cause was linked to consumption of fish, and then in 1957 fishing was banned in Minamata Bay. In 1959, methylmercury was finally found to be as the etiological reason behind this problem, but no connection was found with Chizo factory wastewater dumping until 1968. In May 1968, Chizo stopped methylmercury production and stopped dumping mercury-containing effluent into the water. But people started to suffer from 1956, and it took 12 years for the public health workers to figure out that the reason behind this whole problem was wastewater dumped by Chizo Corporation, and that kept happening 12 years even after appearance of the first case. From year 1956 to 1980, 1,422 patients were recognized as having Minamata disease. First case of Minamata disease died in 1956. 378 people have already died by 1980. Out of all these people, we did death certificate analysis and found that 41.6% died of Minamata disease as a primary cause of death, and 19.6% had Minamata disease as an underlying cause of death. Minamata Disease Compensation Committee was established in 1969, and by year 2005, out of more than 3,300 people who applied for compensation, 2,955 patients were officially certified for having Minamata disease and were compensated for. The applications for certification have been increased since 1970s. National government is under tremendous pressure to support Chizo Corporation from bankruptcy so that it might pay for the cleanup and health-related costs and compensations it is responsible for. The mercury in fish and shellfish has decreased dramatically since 1956 when mercury poisoning started in Minamata Bay. In 1968, Chizo Corporation stopped acetaldehyde production, and after that, level of mercury is consistently low in fish and shellfish. In 1977, pollution prevention project was started, which include sludge disposal project and dividing net to trap contaminated fish. Dredging program was completed in 1988, and the reclaimed land was made into a beautiful modern park. The reason behind not finding fish with high mercury level can be greatly reduced number of fish because of intensive catching operations of polluted fish using dividing net. It's not known if polluted fish will appear in the bay again. Methyl mercury levels are below detection level. However, problem concerning methyl mercury accumulation in fish and Minamata Bay must be continuously monitored. People of Minamata suffered for 12 years. It took 12 years to find the source of methyl mercury poisoning in Minamata Bay. The source was found after factory stopped dumping mercury into water. The continuous exposure caused health as well as environmental adverse effects. The infants were affected by mercury and were born with gnarled limbs and other congenital problems. The disaster shows the failure of public health to determine the cause on time and resulted in suffering of hundreds of people. Nowadays, the mercury level in fish is low, but needs continuous monitoring to prevent future disasters.